When your hospital stay is over and you're ready to come home, there are some important questions you need to ask. These will help make sure your recovery continues throughout the coming weeks. Along with your family and friends, you will now be responsible for managing your care. That's why you need to remember the 5 questions: why, when, where, who, and what. The answers you get to these questions will make your life easier and healthier. Let's start with why. You need to find out why you were in the hospital.
Good news, Mr. Anderson. Your doctor's called and said you are ready to go home today.
Outstanding. You guys are the best, but man, I'm ready to leave. Except, you know what? I'm gonna miss you.
I don't believe that for a second. Come on, I'll help you get ready. These are yours.
I'll tell you something else. I haven't slept well since I've been here. I'm anxious to get home and sleep in my own bed.
You'll sleep well then, that's for sure. Before you go, Mr. Anderson, we need to take care of some things. These are important instructions from us for you.
Before you leave, you'll receive written instructions to help guide your care at home. Since you are responsible for taking care of yourself along with your caregiver, we encourage you to read and follow these instructions. Yes, it's a lot of information, which is why we're here to help.
Do you have any questions?
No, I just want to get home.
Well, we can call your daughter to see when she might be ready to pick you up, okay?
Okay, the sooner the better. Well, it feels good to be back to my old self.
What exactly is it that you need to know in order to stay healthy after you leave the hospital? That's what this video is all about. What to know before you go. We know you're eager to get home. However, it's important to ask questions now, before you leave. Make sure you learn the information you need from your hospital team. You don't want to risk running into the same problems that Mr. Anderson encounters.
Donna, hi. Good news, I can go home.
That's great, Dad. I know you're ready to get out of there.
You know it. When can you come and get me?
Well, I could leave now.
Great, I'll be ready.
Dad, it seems like you were in there such a long time. Did they tell you why?
Well, I don't know. I guess the doctors thought I needed to be here, but, you know, now that I think about it, I don't really know why they kept me so long.
Well, maybe you should ask.
Oh, no. Look, it's too much trouble. I don't want to be here any longer than I have to. Come and pick me up as soon as you can, will you?
Okay, I'll leave now.
While you're in the hospital, a lot of things can happen very quickly. Your medical condition is changing. But before you leave, find out from your doctors what your diagnosis or problem was. To keep yourself healthy at home, it's important to know why you were in the hospital. The next question is when. When should you call for help?
Oh, boy, it's good to be home.
You okay, Dad?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just need a minute to catch my breath.
I think we should call someone.
No, there's no need for that. This'll pass. It can't be anything serious. The doctor checked me from head to toe this morning. Said I was fine.
Before you leave the hospital, find out when you should call your primary care provider, when you should go back to the hospital, and when you need to call 911 for an ambulance. Based on your condition and the reason you were in the hospital, there are signs and symptoms you should be on the lookout for. Some feelings or side effects may be expected. These can wait until you see your primary care provider, but other signs and symptoms may be the sign of an emergency. Make sure you discuss these warning signs with the medical team and know when you should call for help.
Dad, I'm going to call and find out if your breathing trouble is serious. Where'd they say you should call if you had questions?
Oh, the nurse said something about that, but I really wasn't paying any attention. I just wanted to speed things along.
Well, did they send you home with any numbers?
Yeah, they're in there somewhere. They're there.
Oh, here it is. Good. I'm going to call.
It's very important that you know where to find help when you need it. Don't hesitate to make a phone call or ask questions. Time can be critical. When it comes to your health, it's better to be on the safe side. Resources are available if you have questions about medications, need to change appointments, or aren't feeling well. Before you go home, make sure you know where to find help in case you need it. Keep all contact information and phone numbers in an easy-to-find spot. The next question is who? Who should I follow up with?
Dad, I'm glad you're okay. Those things scare me.
Oh, I'm glad it wasn't an emergency. I don't want to have to go back to the hospital again.
I don't want you to either.
You know what? Let's keep these numbers handy just in case we need them.
Good idea. Now that you are feeling all right, I've got to go pick up the kids, take them to soccer. You take it easy?
Oh, well.
And we can talk more about your breathing with Dr. Smith when we see him on Tuesday.
This Tuesday? Oh, now why do I have to go back to the doctor again? I just got out of the hospital. There were a ton of doctors who looked at me when I was in there. Oh, there are just so darn many doctors and appointments.
I only know about that one appointment. Do you have others?
That brings up the next question, who? Mr. Anderson is right. He had many doctors care for him in the hospital. However, it's still important to follow up with your primary care provider after your discharge. You may also have appointments with specialty physicians. Before you leave the hospital, be sure you know who to follow up with. Get a list of appointments and write them down on the calendar so you can be sure not to miss them. Now, let's talk about what. What medications do I take? Mr. Anderson is supposed to start a new medication, but which one is it? There are so many bottles, he can't keep them straight. One prescription in particular confuses him. He's not sure what it's for or when to take it. He thinks, how important can one little pill be? The questions you need answers for are, what medication should I take and what are they used for? Believe it or not, one little pill can be very important. In the hospital, doctors may have started you on new medication or changed their strength or recommended you discontinue them. You need to know what medications to take once you leave the hospital and what they are used for. Be sure you have an updated list that includes any recent changes. Then, you can organize your medications when you get home. There are other questions you need to have the answers for. What can I do for exercise or for usual activities such as driving, climbing steps, or taking a bath? And what can I eat or drink? Medications aren't the only things that may change when you return home from the hospital. For instance, you may have limits on what physical activities you can do. Walking to the store or lifting a heavy bag of groceries. Maybe it's something you always did before you were in the hospital. However, this may not be safe for you to do immediately following discharge from the hospital. There may also be changes in your diet based on your medical condition. Be sure you learn about these special recommendations in order to stay safe and healthy. Before you go home, find out what you can do for physical activity and what you can eat or drink.
No, I just want to get...
You may think of discharge as the last few moments you spend in the hospital before you leave. Actually, it's an ongoing process that we encourage you to take part in. It's important to be knowledgeable about your plan of care. Take the extra time. Make sure you and your caregivers ask questions and have all the necessary facts before you leave the hospital. Remember, why, when, where, who, what. These are the things you need to know before you go. They will help keep you healthy as possible, and that's what we're all interested in.